Today, we're talking about why I pass on about 14 out of 15 collection leads that come my way, and why saying no is the hardest part of the job. Then we dive into the muddy history of Man-Thing and Swamp-Thing, and try to figure out who really ripped off who. And finally, in Collector's Corner, we're showing some of our recent pickups from our personal collection, from signed J. Scott Campbell Wonder Womans to 1976 Lunchboxes, because whether it's buying collections, comic history, or weird old collectibles, these are the kinds of stories that make comic culture interesting here in the CheddarVerse. Welcome into today's episode of the CheddarVerse. We are in episode 13. Lucky 13 for you. It's not a bad number. It's a good number to you, right, Mrs. Cheddar?
It's a very good number.
Really?
Yeah, very lucky.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think that falls under, like, walking under ladders and black cats running in front of you and
superstitious.
broken mirror, 7 years of bad luck, that kind of thing?
No.
Well, here we go. Lucky number 13 today in the CheddarVerse. Thank you for joining. We've got a great one ahead of us today. I am Chris here at Cheddar Comics. Be sure to follow me on Instagram for live sales, claim sales, cool stuff, posts, stories, the whole kit and caboodle. Find me on Instagram at Cheddar_Comics. And I'm here with the Alfred to my Batman. It's Mrs. Cheddar Comics.
I don't know why I'm clapping for myself.
Oh, you did it again. Be sure to follow her on Instagram at Mrs. Cheddar_Comics. How you doing, Mrs. Cheddar?
Doing good.
Wow. Be sure to be following, like I said, whether you're listening or watching or whatever you're doing on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Make sure to sub, like, follow, whatever it's called, wherever you are. And if you could leave us a review on Apple, if you're listening on there, we would so appreciate it to get our numbers back up from the review bomb we just got. So if you like it, please let us know. And we are going to be talking about some fun stuff today. We wanted to let people know, too, that we've kind of, just a little bit in the chit-chat, we're going to be kind of getting away from any reviews, movie stuff, TV, and we're going to be doubling down on comic collecting, comic culture with our third segment that we both really like, Collector Corner. Mm-hmm. And maybe we'll, say a few words, like we just watched Daredevil Born Again Season 2. We were good.
Bored.
Yeah, no.
Until that last episode. That was great.
Would you say it's more of a Daredevil bored again?
Yes.
Uh-oh. So that's about as far as we're going to get on that stuff. So hopefully you will enjoy us doubling down on comic culture. And we have a lot to get to today, so let's get into Tales from the Sales.
This is Tales from the Sales.
So, we had the big book collection last week. I have another collection that's around the corner, so it's not going to be every week as a new pickup story, so I thought this week it would be a good palate cleanser to talk about all of the things that don't happen. All the collections I say no to.
Yes.
You'll never see those because I say no.
Right.
And people think that comic dealers buy every collection they see, and some people do, to be fair.
Yes.
I've talked to a few people on Instagram who buy and sell, and one of them told me like, "Oh, I have too much, but I buy every single thing I see."
Oy.
Because I was talking to my friend Royak. Royak Studios. If you don't, make sure to be following him on Instagram. He's the best. We have tons of his art up in the house.
Yeah, we do.
And I think it was when I posted the book, Daryl Young's book collection, he had asked me a good piercing question, which was, how many, when you get a lead, how many of those leads lead to you buying a collection? And I kind of thought about it, and I was like, my first response was going to be like 1 out of 10, and I was like, I think it's actually less than that. And I was like, I don't think it's 1 out of 20.
No.
But maybe like 1 out of 15.
Yeah, probably.
So
More often than you think.
I'd probably say no to 10 to 15, 10 to 14 before I find that one that I really like. And he was like, oh, geez. He's like, that's a lot lower than I thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he thought it would be higher.
Buying all the time.
Yeah,
stuff.
half or who knows what.
Sure, yeah.
And I mean, I tell you about almost all of them. I mean,
Just about.
Not all, yeah. You probably actually don't hear about most of them because it's not worth your time.
Oh.
Oh. He's like, oh, you're pestering me on the couch every day.
I'm not hearing you about
seems like you're telling me about them all.
Oh.
Oh no.
Interesting.
Why do I say no?
Well, because of our past experiences being with what we had down in the warehouse. The bulk made a huge impact on how you buy. Absolutely. And kind of redefining, the energy that we want to call to ourselves too.
Yeah. So if it's your first episode you're listening to or watching, or maybe you missed that one, we kind of ended up after like a year, last year's buying like all the collections I bought, and it's 5 boxes, 10 boxes, whatever.
Right.
We ended up with our storage unit just filled with bulk.
Yes.
What is bulk? Bulk is filler issues, undesirables, or maybe they're $1 each, and we just don't have an avenue like a comic shop does, or someone that is a vendor or somebody. We don't have an avenue for that kind of comic book.
Right.
Dollar bin stuff.
Yeah.
Which is the most collections, or almost all collections, have dollar book stuff if it's big enough.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
So, we went through that process. I had people come by and buy stuff, and then we listed the bulk on Facebook, and it sat there forever, and I got all these low balls. It was like 15,000 comics. Some guy's like, I'll give you $700. I'm like, get out of here.
Oh my God, that's right.
We finally sold them all. And it took months to get rid of it. So now when I get collections in, especially in the last couple months, because that was March?
Yeah.
It's May now?
Yeah, it was
the last
March.
couple months, I'm much more like, I really don't want to buy your bulk filler because I know that it's just going to end up in my storage unit, and I'm going to have to wait for some guy to come offer me $50 a lawn box.
Yeah.
And it's just not really worth it for me to go drive to you, give you the money, load it up, store it, do nothing with it, and offload it in a year.
No.
So that's kind of like lately why I'm not buying that stuff. A lot of it has been, a lot of the messages. So it's not like, hey, I've got 10 lawn boxes and I'm always turning that down. I mean, tons of the messages are, I have these comics, and can you send me a picture? Yeah, and it's 6 comics.
Yep.
And it just, they're just nothing.
5 comics, 30 comics.
It's 30 comics, and they're 90s.
It's always 90s.
Whatever.
90s whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm really cutting back on 90s buying because it just takes so much for you to get one great issue. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and you always say, too, it's just like they overprinted so much.
Exactly.
So
they're so common.
Yeah.
So it's simple economic supply and demand. There's so much supply, little demand, so you get very little for it.
Right.
Unless you have one of the keys.
Right, which isn't too many.
There isn't very many for 90s. I mean, I'm always hoping for, it's technically 88, but first Venom. First Gambit is always the one.
Right.
Carnage, symbiote stuff.
Yeah.
Is always great. And then it starts to, And because we did the Marvel bankruptcy segment a few weeks ago, you really learn why that era, took a turn. I mean, the quality goes down, the overprinting happens, and especially after 96 when they go bankrupt.
Right.
They're kind of like, off their game for a while.
What do we do?
You know, so sometimes it is the 90s bulk. You know, the cat piss collection.
Oh, sure.
You know, that collection, even if you de-pissed it, you know, had some of the worst 90s titles you could have.
Really?
Yeah.
What are the worst ones to you?
Oh my God, Justice League.
Which title?
Any of them.
There's so fucking many of them.
There's Avengers.
Yeah.
90s Avengers.
I feel like Captain America.
Captain America, not great.
Thor.
Yeah, I mean, just so much. I mean, pretty much unless you have Spider-Man, X-Men, Batman, and even 90s Batman isn't that great. We've had those a few times.
Yeah,
you know, we're going
to
lot together 70 issues for $70 pretty much.
Right.
You know.
Sure.
A lot of it's that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a great collection. I just had a great collection come in, a lead, and he had, you know, it was a slabbed first Punisher, like a 7.5. He had a Hulk 181, a 3.0.
Oh, that guy,
Those were the two peaks. A lot of Secret Wars 8s, a lot of First Gambit, like just stuff like that. You know, Wolverine 1 through 4, all this great stuff.
Right.
You know, but what does he want? He wants $17,000. You know.
Shit.
And he was like, well, I would even take, you know, 75% of FMV, fair market value.
75%?
Yeah. Oh. And, you know, if you could make 12 grand work, you know, I could make that work.
Oh.
And I started doing the numbers on the biggest stuff, and I was like, oh my God, we're like crawling to get there. I was like, no, I would lose on that. You know, you have to sell them piece by piece yourself if you're looking for that, because I always tell people too, if you want the top money, you sell them yourself. That's how you're going to get all the money.
Right.
You know, I have to buy to resell, and I don't want to plunk down 12 grand. You'll never see all the work, you know, because you're with me now. You see everything. All the real work isn't the selling and the shipping. The real work is the rebagging, grading, pricing, sorting, you know, A to Z, getting it all together, looking up what's key. That's where all the work is.
100%.
You know,
it's all in the background.
Yeah. So if we did, you know, if we use our film knowledge, right?
Yeah.
You got pre-production, which is pretty much the lead. Like you make the deal. That would be like you finish the script.
Yep.
The production part is the biggest part.
Absolutely.
Where most of the work goes when you're filming the movie. And then you have exhibition, you know, you edit, you finish the movie, and it goes out there, and then that's it.
Right.
You know, I'm still working on, when this episode comes out, we would have had the book sale.
Right.
Daryl's book sale from last week's episode. It's taken me, you know, I worked on it all last week. I've just finished it yesterday. You know, it took like 10 days to process. Right. You know, to get through it all. And all anybody will see is the video I posted and the couple of live shows we do. Right. You know. So, you know, people don't really consider that. I got to pay taxes at the end of the year. I'm going to lose 15% to Uncle Sam.
Taxes and like supplies.
Oh, supplies too. I mean, bags and boards.
Big cost.
You know.
Yeah.
For shipping too, shipping went up.
Like 80 cents.
Yeah, 8% on every package. So, you know, I'm pretty much eating the cost of the box. Right. You know, or sometimes I'm over. You know, so it's like I don't make anything on shipping. Yeah. Most of the time it's, you know, in the red on that. You know, so I mean, it's not a big pity party or something. You know, we make money. It's a business.
This is just business.
But that's the stuff, you know, you don't see. So when you hit me up about 30 comics 5 hours away,
yeah,
you know,
I'm gonna get a little picky.
There was a couple of weird. I had 2 weird Facebook interactions this week. Oh, that I wanted to, you know, I just wanted to give the play-by-play of why they don't work. But yeah. There was one guy who asked me, where are you located? And I had said, I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. Where are you located? And he just wrote Troy. Right. So then I go to my phone, and I go to Google, and I type in Troy, Wisconsin. And there was one but there also came up like, there's one in Michigan, there's one in Illinois, there's one in every state.
Yeah.
So I just asked, Troy, Wisconsin, ? And he just replied right away. He's like, not interested, never mind. Okay. All right.
Negative.
Negative. All right. There was another guy who messaged me, and all he wrote was, I don't want to see your ads anymore.
Okay.
What am I?
What are you supposed to fucking do about that?
I'm sorry?
I'm so sorry.
I was like, wow, they're really out there. They're really working.
Guess so. So much so that someone's gonna, I don't want to see this.
I don't want to see this anymore. Make it stop. Stop it. Okay. I didn't respond to that one.
You didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of tales from the sales. Just a little bit behind of why a lot of them don't work out. They're either too far, they're not good. I don't want them. I'm self-selecting out. They want too much. A lot of different factors.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's even before we even meet.
Yes.
This is a moment in comic history.
In 1971, Marvel and DC both introduced Man-Thing and Swamp Thing within months of each other. So who ripped off who? And is it true that both creators were roommates at the time? Man-Thing appears first in Savage Tales #1, written by Roy Thomas and Jerry Conway, and releases in May of 1971. Swamp Thing first appears in House of Secrets #92, written by Len Wein, which is released in July of 1971. Interestingly, both Len Wein and Jerry Conway were roommates at the exact same time when they created the characters. Both say that they never saw the other one's work and each other's monsters and were not influenced by one another while living together. Well, technically, Conway didn't originate the idea for Man-Thing himself, as that came from Stan Lee. He came up with the name Man-Thing and a few-sentence idea of a young scientist beset by spies, gets hit with a mixture of chemicals, and the swamp turns him into a monster. He handed this to Roy Thomas to flesh out, who turns it into a synopsis and gave that to Jerry Conway. So all three are listed as co-creators on Man-Thing. To make things even murkier in the swamp, Len Wein would write Man-Thing's second appearance, Astonishing Tales #12, where the monster would ally with Kazar against AIM. This is the same month that Len Wein would write Swamp Thing's origin in House of Secrets '92. So was Len Wein influenced by the Man-Thing? Len Wein claims that he was unaware of the resemblance between the monsters, and he maintained he did not consciously copy Man-Thing, and the close similarity was a unfortunate coincidence. After Swamp Thing appeared, Marvel considered legal action against DC Comics for copying their concept, but decided against it, largely because both characters were actually derivative to a 1942 character called the Heap, a muck-covered swamp monster from the 1940s that looks similar to both characters. And Marvel editors realized that swamp monster stories were common and that neither party truly owned the archetype. But despite their nearly identical beginnings, the two monsters would evolve into completely different characters, as Man-Thing tends to be a more mindless, tragic figure, known for the phrase, "whatever knows fear burns at the touch of the Man-Thing." Swamp Thing developed into a more intelligent character, becoming a sentient elemental force with control over plant life, the Green. And the deeper you look into comic history, the harder it is to figure out where ideas truly begin. Was Swamp Thing a ripoff of Man-Thing? Was Man-Thing inspired by the Heap? Or were a bunch of young creators in the early 70s all just pulling from the same horror traditions at the exact same moment? And maybe that's the true story. And that's today's moment in comic book history. What do you think of that one, Mrs. Cheddar?
Wow. That's really cool.
You like that one, eh?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So I've never heard of the Heap.
Yeah. And we have the book there from Daryl's collection.
Okay.
And that's the Heap. He was on that Airboy, and we had him actually in that Airboy in the Golden Age collection.
Okay.
Remember that one right there on the back?
Yes, I do.
That's the Heap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
So, because I don't know much about Man-Thing either, except for I think the only taste that I really got was when Marvel did that special, that black and white TV special.
Yeah, on Disney.
And he was really awesome in that.
Yeah, he was great.
You know,
yeah.
I was like, wow, that's a great introduction to the character. He's cool.
So the reason the genesis for me for this segment was that I had heard, because obviously there's swamp monsters, they're similar.
Right.
Comic history is littered with characters that copied other characters. I mean, you can do a whole podcast on, did Doctor Strange copy Dr. Fate, and did the X-Men copy Doom Patrol, and did Deadpool copy Deathstroke? And this is just that area for swamp monsters.
Oh, okay. I see.
So who came first? They came within 2 months of each other. Mm-hmm. It's almost the same time. The story that I had heard, which I found the most interesting, was that Len Wein and Jerry Conway, who I thought was the creator, was actually one of the co-creators, were roommates at the exact same time. They both came up with Man-Thing and Swamp Thing.
So, I always hear that.
Yeah, so... who, did Len Wein see Jerry Conway's script, or did Jerry Conway see the Swamp Thing? And then then I got deeper into it, writing this segment.
Okay. And
then I was like, this is much muddier than just even that, because Jerry Conway didn't even create Man-Thing. Stan Lee came up with it. He came up with the name Man-Thing, which Roy Thomas did not like.
Yeah, I get that.
He's like, I don't like this. But
I get it.
I will dutifully write origin.
Okay.
So then he wrote a synopsis. Mm-hmm. So then he was number 2. And then he gave that to Jerry Conway to flesh out. So it was 3 creators. I'm like, okay, well, the roommate thing isn't even a thing.
Yeah.
So
it's just I'm like, is it all vibrational? Y'all are just picking it up.
It reminds me of
what's on the air.
I don't remember their names, but it's who created the radio. Remember it was one. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna sound like a fucking idiot, but one guy in Italy, had it, and then someone else in America.
Right.
They didn't know each other, and they had the same idea at the same time.
Yeah.
And, is it like that kind of thing? I think someone is interested in a swamp monster. Obviously, Stan was.
Yeah.
The comics code has come off. The shackles have come off the comics code in the early 70s.
So they can do more monsters.
So we can do monsters.
Right.
And
he thought, swamp monster.
Yeah.
For sure.
Man-Thing. So then when you get deeper into it, which one copied who? Hey, they both fucking ripped off the Heap.
Yeah.
The Heap is the original swamp monster.
Definitely. Absolutely.
And they couldn't sue because of the Heap.
Wow.
And we have this book from Daryl's collection, and it was nice writing the segment because I had done the research and I had seen the Heap. I was like, oh, I think Daryl had one of those books.
Yeah.
And then on the inside, Roy Thomas writes a little intro to the Heap, and he talks about Man-Thing and Swamp Thing and how they're pretty much both derivative of the Heap.
Well, yeah.
As far as not their characters.
No, those are different.
What you do, what I mean? You think about Alan Moore's Swamp Thing and where that ends up going.
Yeah.
Or Bernie Wrightson's art on Swamp Thing, or whatever direction you take it. But for the most part, they're both just derivative of the Heap. Wow. And the Heap is actually the OG.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite segments to write and research because it just kept getting more interesting from the roommate part.
Yeah,
I didn't know any of that.
I don't know. There must have been something in the air.
Well,
or overheard, something.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously Len Wein here, is influenced by what's going on with Man-Thing because the idea comes from Stan, it goes to Roy Thomas, it goes to Jerry Conway, and then Len Wein if this is a lawyer's case and I'm
right
in court here, Len Wein wrote the second issue of Man-Thing in Astonishing Tales 12. And the same month he wrote Man-Thing's second issue, he comes up with House of Secrets 92.
Right.
I mean,
that's pretty.
It's
kind of, yeah.
That's where I
done deal.
Yeah, I mean,
that's kind of a done
I think
deal.
when it led there, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know much about Man-Thing, to be quite honest. Like I had said,
Sure.
but I find Swamp Thing's writing and the art to be
We're big Swamp Thing
very
people.
Beautiful. Type.
I love Swamp Thing. Alan Moore's Swamp Thing is, I think,
one of the best.
probably one of my, I don't know, top 10
Absolutely.
like comic book runs like ever. I mean, it's so beautifully drawn, and I mean, of course, it's well written, and
yes,
it's just awesome. I mean, I'm a big Swamp Thing guy, but we also too, we've been talking about Swamp Thing because he had that big 80s pop culture burst.
Oh yeah, they had toys and stuff, right?
Yeah, because of the movie, the Wes Craven movie with Adrienne Barbeau.
Oh right.
Wes
saw
Craven.
that?
Yes, you have it rated on Letterboxd. I think you gave it 2 stars.
I don't remember it. at all.
Wes Craven's Swamp Thing, which is cool.
That is cool.
And then there was the Kenner toy line,
right?
And they did a toy line off Swamp Thing, and he's had I know he had a TV show. I think maybe 2 TV shows.
2 TV shows.
Yes.
Wow.
And a couple. I mean, they made a sequel to Wes Craven's Swamp Thing.
Oh, okay. And he's in Justice League Dark.
And yes, you love Justice League Dark,
yes.
and so I think culturally, Swamp Thing outgrew.
Man-Thing.
He's the swamp monster.
Absolutely.
Just culturally.
I think it's just my opinion, but I think he looks better than Man-Thing.
Well, yeah, and then you get, the great Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah.
To draw enough said.
Yeah.
You get Bernie Wrightson on Swamp Thing. I mean, he's just the absolute best there is.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones that you're so lucky you got him.
Definitely.
And his style just perfectly complements the character.
100%.
So there's certainly enough in comic history to go back and forth on who came first and who ripped off who, because there is plenty of them. Is there one that comes to mind?
God, there's so many, and I always say it. I'm like, that's so and so.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I don't know if there's like the Flash has somebody.
Oh, Flash and Quicksilver.
Oh, see, there you go.
Flash is obviously first.
Yeah.
There's some. That's why this one is the most interesting, because the publication dates are 2 months apart. So it's the most super close, who came first. Unlike the Flash, who's there in the 40s as a speedster, and then Quicksilver shows up in the 60s.
Sure, yeah.
Dr. Fate and Dr. Strange.
Right.
Both mystical, magical sorcerers. Dr. Fate's the 40s. Dr. Strange comes around in the 60s.
Okay, yeah.
I one of my favorites is X-Men Just Doom Patrol.
I don't know much about Doom Patrol, so I can't really speak on that.
Doom Patrol's leader is wheelchair bound, and he pulls together a group of oddballs to go on missions.
Oh. Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, then, yeah.
I'll save that for a different thing. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, obviously. Wheelchair bound? They couldn't even...
Yeah, he's in a wheel. The leaders, yeah.
Jeez.
Just like Charles.
Jeez. I couldn't even try.
So, and those guys too, for Stan, Stan and everybody, they all did comics for all those decades. So,
right.
They're just inspired by the Heap, or, hey, what about Swamp Monster? I think it has more to do with the comics code being lifted.
Yeah, they want to
and now we
monsters.
can start doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Because
crazy
what we talked about in 2 weeks ago with the comics code.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to do vampires, ghouls.
None of it.
All that stuff. So once that gets lifted, you get this great Marvel monster renaissance in the 70s.
Right.
You get Dracula, Ghost Rider.
Werewolf by Night.
Yeah. Moon Knight, Man-Thing.
Oh my God.
All those guys
Best
come up
stuff.
in the 70s.
Do they do Frankenstein?
Yeah, they did Marvel's Frankenstein. You get all the monster, that great
stuff.
Bronze Age Marvel monster era.
Yeah, kick ass.
Which is super cool.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really interesting.
Very interesting, fascinating.
This is Collector's Corner with Mr. and Mrs. Cheddar.
So now we have our third, hopefully permanent segment figured out here with Collector's Corner with Mr. and Mrs. Cheddar. we are always, of course, I buy and sell, and I'm interested in comic history, but at the end of the day, we're always collecting. We're always buying new stuff or taking something out of one of the collections or finding stuff out there at the stores or
always,
that's the fun. It's a lifetime pursuit. And, that's what we have connected with everyone too, all of our friends and listeners. And, we all collect and we love the medium in all its forms. And,
right.
There's probably always something to talk about as far as what we're picking up or collecting, right?
Absolutely.
We're going to get into Mrs. Cheddar stuff. I have a couple here, and we'll, talk about it, I guess.
What?
I guess tell me, I know you told me before, but tell the audience what you got, how you even found out about these, because they're modern variants.
Yeah.
And all that. Let's see the goods. Let's whip them out.
So, okay. So there's three comics, all of which are number 750 of Wonder Woman. And they are all signed, true exclusives from J. Scott Campbell.
Very cool. So Wonder Woman 750 J. Scott Campbell variants.
Yes. And they're all he drew them all from like different eras. Mm-hmm. So obviously we have the World War II era, which is my favorite one.
Out of these three.
Yep. I didn't even know about these other two because I saw this on Instagram. Someone posted it.
Which one? This one you're holding? The World War II cover.
Yes.
For our podcast listeners.
Yes. He posted this one and I was like, wow.
Never seen it before?
I've never seen it before.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that is cool.
Yeah.
Because I only got introduced to J. Scott Campbell really was from recently because of
C2E2.
Because of C2E2.
Yes.
And he drew
Where
that
I met him.
Beautiful Rogue.
Yes, you love the Rogue one.
So I was like, well, he really knows how to draw women, which is
absolutely.
Nice. So seeing him do Wonder Woman, I was like, I need this.
Yes.
For my
I'd
collection.
never seen these. Neither of us have. I mean, you're Wonder Woman's your thing, but I've never seen him do Wonder Woman.
No, absolutely. I feel like I would have been aware of that.
For sure. So that's the first one.
That's the first one. That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
And then we have this is the modern one, signed in blue by him. And it's got
modern one?
Yeah, I'm only saying modern because of the lettering here. Up here, but like her look and everything.
Oh, yep.
I'm saying.
Yep, I see what you're saying. I didn't even notice that they changed the title fonts on each of these.
Yeah, so this one, this one reminds me of like New 52
title. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
New 52 lettering. She's with all the Amazons, which I haven't seen before. It's usually just her.
Sure.
So she's on Paradise Island.
Yeah.
About to fight some good fights with everybody. And then this one's more, would you say like 80s?
70s. I
70s?
think that's 70s title font there.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And she's with the Justice League at, what do they call it? The
Hall of Justice.
Hall of Justice.
I should let you guess. What do you think it's called?
It says it right fucking there. Hall of Justice. Where are they? She's front and center, but she's got, all of them surrounding her.
Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Aquaman, Flash.
Yeah.
The Justice League.
Signed in yellow. And they all come with these awesome certificate of authenticity. So I know that they're real, which was nice. But I guess you said too, they're exclusively from his website.
You would have had to have gotten these from jscottcampbell.com. So these weren't stuff that were the big artists, Alex Ross, he has cover. Of course, they have covers at the comic book stores, but the big guys also do exclusives that are only on their website.
Okay.
And they sell out. Or remember John Tyler Christopher had those Mary Jane covers.
Yes.
Or that was only on his website.
Okay.
So these J. Scott, he's so big that they can do these exclusives to their site.
Wow.
So.
Really cool.
Yeah. So pretty much you saw it on Instagram. Mm-hmm. You saw the book and you're like, I have to have these.
I have to show Chris right now.
And she should know better as a loving husband that if she tells me that, that's game over.
There is
pretty much if you tell me that, I'm going to okay, I'm going to buy them right now and look.
No, there's no expectation. I just wanted to show you because we had just gone through this whole J. Scott Campbell event.
And you became a fan because of C2E2.
I did. Yeah. And I liked, your story about meeting him and how kind he was to you.
Yeah, he was great too.
So, So yeah, just the fact.
So you told me that they exist. I went on eBay.
And you're like, look, there's 3 of them.
Yeah, because you only knew of the one.
I thought there was only the World War II one. Yeah.
So there was a guy on eBay who had all 3 very high priced.
Yeah.
I was like, I love her, but we gotta have some guardrails here. So I sent him an offer. And I was like, I think it's maybe more around here. And then he countered, and I was like, I think it's more around here, and he accepted.
Yeah.
So he probably had been sitting on them a long time.
Well, they were too high of a price.
Yeah, so he was probably just happy to get rid of them.
Definitely.
And
that's like, fine.
Yeah, great. Yeah,
great.
You got him to the
cool.
Wonder Woman, a huge Wonder Woman fan.
Yeah, absolutely. I love them.
Oh, great. They made it on the wall. They're on the wall.
They made
it on
the wall. Yeah. I'll make a post about it. And everybody will be like, oh, another Wonder Woman.
Oh, another Wonder Woman.
Wow.
Yeah. Mrs. Cheddar, we're talking about, like, what are we going to bring for this new segment? And I was like, well, you're going to bring your J. Scott Campbell Wonder Womans. And she was like, it's always Wonder Woman. I don't want to do that. I'm like, that's your favorite thing.
It is my favorite thing.
It's like a whole short box in the back.
Then I'm trying to find no, but I like other characters.
Yeah, you're like, I like Rogue and I like Phoenix. I'm like, yeah, but not like Wonder Woman. You got a half sleeve on your arm of Wonder Woman. Not even close. It's okay.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm the same. When I was, my crazy X-Men years, it was always X-Men, and I'm like, no, I really like other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all right. It's good.
I hope so.
Well, who cares? Yeah. You love it.
Yeah, I do.
That's
love
what this is about. Collector Corner.
Yeah, and they're just beautiful.
It's about what you love. You love Wonder Woman the most.
Absolutely.
And she's the best.
So, what did you pick up this weekend?
What's that face? All Mrs. Cheddar kept saying is like, I didn't know you were into lunchboxes. I'm not. I don't have any.
I didn't know. I was genuine. I really didn't know. But it makes sense with what is on the lunchboxes.
You know what it is that, so let me, before I get into it, I bought 2 from our friend Six Treasure Chest here in Madison. If you ever come to Madison, go to Six Treasure Chest. It's a great toy shop.
It is.
And we're friends, so he'll sometimes put stuff aside for me and say, hey, are you interested in this when we go in there? Because we go in there like once a month.
Yeah.
Our daughter's 5. It's her favorite store. I buy her stuffed animals.
Yeah, she loves it.
And me and Mrs. Cheddar, of course, we're friends with Sig, so it's just a great time all around. That's my Sig Treasure Chest commercial. So he brought out some other stuff, and it was portfolios of artists. I was like, nah, I don't really care. Well, what about these? And then it was these 2 1976 Aladdin lunchboxes, one Marvel and one DC. They both have the thermos on the inside. These are here for you.
Tin.
Metal lunchboxes from the 70s. Before my time, before I was born. But I like this stuff because I just love old comic merchandise. I'm a sucker for that stuff. I have the old comic shop posters, in my office.
Right.
Obviously, I have some toys and things, and these fall under you don't know you want it or need it until you see it.
Sure.
And once I saw them, I needed them.
I understand.
So, Sig was like, hey, how about this much? I'm like, yep, done deal. You got it. These are just too cool for me. So he actually had this Marvel one in his case, a different one. And it was rusty, and I was like, I don't know. I don't really like all that rust on it. These ones are fairly nice.
Yeah, they're clean.
So the first one is the Marvel one. It's got a little sticker residue on it. Spider-Man, Cap, Thor on the front. You got the Fantastic Four on the back. And then it's got all art around all sides. Hulk, Iron Man, Falcon. You got a nice Scarlet Witch, Yellow Jacket. Wow, Daredevil.
Is that... He's from Daredevil?
No, Yellow Jacket's an Avenger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is.
Yeah. There you go. Wasp, Vision, Hawkeye. And it's just got this great 70s art on it. The colors are great. It's got some scratches and stuff, but it's not rusty.
No.
And then if you open up this tetanus-filled metal box, you got a nice plastic thermos. And I've had a few, when I used to have the Etsy shop before it was Cheddar and it was the Pop Vault, we would get some lunchboxes here and there, mostly 80s plastic ones.
Yeah.
Not a lot of 70s metals ones because they went to plastic in the 80s. But I love I love that they both had the thermos.
Definitely.
Complete. You want them complete.
Yeah.
Right? And then the DC one is super cool because it's got, and I love the Super Friends cartoon. Mm-hmm. It says Super Friends on it.
Yep.
Superman, Wonder Woman in the middle, Batman and Robin. And then I showed this to Mrs. Cheddar, and she pointed out, which is something I didn't even realize when we looked at all the sides. DC she was like, oh, it's the girl lunchbox. I'm like, what do you mean it's the girl lunchbox? Well, it centers a woman on each side. I'm like, oh my God, you're totally right. There's this side. It's got Supergirl in the middle with Batman and Robin on the sides.
They're in the back.
The Batman villains here with Catwoman.
Right.
She's in the middle with Joker and Riddler on the side. And then on the back, the big back has Batgirl in the middle with Flash and Green Arrow on.
In the background,
the background, which is so cool. And then my poor guy here, Green Lantern, shoved to the bottom, to the right. Very small Gil Kane drawing there. It's got Hawkman, Aquaman, then it's got Penguin and somebody named Kitten.
Who is Kitten?
I don't know who Kitten is.
Someone comment.
I don't know who Kitten is. She's with Penguin, so maybe she's a Batman something. So these are just some vintage, comic book merchandise that I like.
Yeah, the art's beautiful.
I just fell for them because the colors are great. I got both of them. A little Marvel, a little DC.
Yeah.
They got the thermoses. It's just like, so
wrong.
am I, quote, into lunchboxes, like Mrs. Cheddar asked? I didn't know you were into lunchboxes. Well, I'm not into lunchboxes. As you know, that these are the first ones I've ever bought.
So triggered.
But they're just so cool,
They are.
You have that with posters. I have that with those comic shop posters in the back office. I never knew I wanted this Jim Lee Storm poster, but then you see it and you're like, it's so cool. I got to take it home.
Right.
I have that Wizard, Alex Ross, Spider-Man Wizard piece in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want that till I see it. So at least I have that. Let me know in the comments below. Do you have that? Actually, you know what? This is perfect. These are both. I just put it together now, live on the air. These are both. You don't know you want it until you see it.
100%.
You had no idea these J. Scott Campbells existed. You saw it and you had to have it.
Yep.
I vaguely knew about one of these lunchboxes existed, but for the most part, I didn't know I needed it till I saw them.
Sure.
And that's just a part of collecting sometimes. It's not always you have a list, you cross it off. That's a lot of it. But sometimes you bump into something, you fall in love with it, or they're just great pieces for the shelf, and you just say, I am not leaving these behind.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And that keeps it fun, though. That keeps it exciting.
It does.
Because
I love that.
And for me, too, like something I don't like about my least favorite part about the comic community, and I have it because I make videos all the time now, is the know-it-all who knows everything and has to correct you. And
yes.
I'm always like, I don't want to know everything. That's what keeps it so fun.
Right.
I can't know everything.
No.
But my ego is in check, and I don't need to, lord over someone and look down and say, you don't know bop bop bop.
Right.
I'm like cool, and I'm like, no, discovery is the best part.
Yeah.
And collecting is a lifetime pursuit.
Yes.
And that's the discovery is like the funnest part.
What you collect and what you discover just like go hand in hand, I feel like.
So that's today's Collector's Corner with Mr. and Mrs. Cheddar. So that's it for today's episode of the CheddarVerse, episode 13 in the books. What'd you think of that one, Mrs. Cheddar?
I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. Very interesting.
You're being kept in the dark. You don't know what's happening until we get here now.
It's better that way.
You like it that way?
I like it that way.
Yeah, great.
Because then my curiosity gets to come out and I get to badger you with questions.
Great.
So
hopefully I have the answers.
You usually do.
So hopefully you like our new Collector's Corner segment at the end there. We're thinking these are going to be the 3 segments from now on, and it'll be a lot easier for me as I'm writing to just kind of know what's going to be here every week.
Me too.
And for you too.
So I can plan something.
Sure. So it'll either be our new pickups, or we'll go into the Cheddar Vault and talk about something that have that is in our PC that we love.
Right.
And let's see. We have, when this comes out, we won't have a show this week, but always be sure to be following me on Instagram for live sales, claim sales, all the good stuff at Cheddar_Comics on Instagram. Be sure to be following Mrs. Cheddar on Instagram, Mrs. Cheddar_Comics, for all her cool stuff. Most likely a Wonder Woman post around the corner.
Hey.
And and again, as always, please be sure to sub, like, follow, share with a friend, send it to somebody. This is my favorite new comic book podcast. You got to listen to it. I love it. Do us a solid, man. And if you can be really super cool, you'll leave us a review on Apple Podcasts to try to drown out our latest hate review.
Yes, please.
So please check that out and leave a review if you can. We love you so much for listening. We appreciate you more than you'll ever know. We are really loving doing the podcast. So if you could leave a comment, let us know what you think. We get some people letting us know, and which is words of encouragement. Everyone says, keep going, don't stop.
Very much.
So we would love to hear from more of you, though. We have a lot of listeners and watchers and only a handful of comments. So please comment below. Let us know what you think. What's your favorite segment? What are you collecting right now?
Ooh, yeah.
We will be back next week with another episode 14. We're climbing to the next milestone, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
And we will see you on the next one. So be sure to tune in. Same Cheddar time, same Cheddar channel. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
This has been a Cheddar Comics podcast. Tune in next week for another episode.